You just unscrew the cap and you pull this out. This is the part that hangs outside your body, and then this is the already lubricated part that goes. Raylan, you go pee, don't you? Before bed. You haven't peed since 3 o'clock. So I'm here with little Raylan, and I wanted to tell you something they didn't really go over in nursing school that I think is kind of interesting, and that is about catheters. There are like a bazillion different types of intermittent catheters, and those are the ones without the balloon, so they don't stay in you. You just use them, empty your bladder, and you're done. And Raylan uses catheters to empty your bladder sometimes. Sometimes she just has trouble peeing. We have these, which are awesome, and our home nurse also said when she was in nursing school that the nursing instructor, they had, I guess, practice catheter kits to work with. And the nursing instructor was like,
oh, I've never seen anything like this before.
And our home nurse knew how to figure it out because we've messed with quite a few different catheters, to be honest. I can think of four different versions of a catheter. Plus, 5, once we were in Pana Hospital, and they didn't have any catheters small enough for Raylan, so they used an NG tube as a catheter, which I didn't know. At the time, that kind of upset me. I'm like, why don't you have the right equipment? Now I know it really doesn't matter. It's very similar. They lubricated it, and an NG tube works just fine as a catheter in a pinch. So nasal gastric feeding tube that you stick in your nose into your stomach can also be used as a catheter if you can't find a catheter. They're basically like a giant straw. I think I've shown you guys Raylan's catheters before, but we were having a problem with supply issue. No, we weren't. I was going to say COVID. COVID's caused supply issues, but no, this was a problem just with getting a doctor's script to process through the medical company quick enough, medical supplier company quick enough. So I went to the doctor's office. I'm like,
can I have some samples of 8 French caths for my daughter while we're trying to get insurance figured out?
And they gave me 60 of these. 60 means these are disposable. That's one thing that I think they showed non-disposable washable caths for intermittent cathing in my class. You know, they're so brief, I don't remember that part. But I'm thankful that we don't have to wash and reuse catheters for Raylan. We are given disposable ones, and this one is much smaller than this one because it doesn't have a bag with it. So hold on, and I will show you how it works. Literally, you just unscrew the cap and you pull this out like this. This is the part that hangs outside your body, and then this is the already lubricated part that goes into your urethra up to your bladder, and you can see the length of it by this. So if you worked at a hospital, probably your hospital uses the same type of catheters for everyone that gets straight cath. I mean, they might be different sizes, of course, but they're going to look similar. But if you work in home health, you might see different catheters in every home, or if a patient is regularly cathetered, they might bring their own caths from home. I bring Raylan's caths to the hospital because I don't like the ones at the hospital. They give us, I call them straws. They're just what I showed you just now, only they're way longer. And when she's in the hospital, they want to measure urine. So you have to hold up a disposable urinal to that while you're helping her go pee, whereas those big bag catheters automatically hold the urine for you. It's a lot easier to use those catheters that have a bag attached than to try to use the straw and balance a urinal under a kid laying down. So there's all different, there's so many different catheters, and they all work pretty much the same. If you've seen one, and sometimes it takes a couple of minutes to figure out, how do I get this one literally put together? There's one, I don't have any of them anymore, but it looks a lot like the short one I just showed you, only there is a bag attached. And it took us some fiddling with it. How do we get this one even open? But yeah, they all work the same. You can figure it out if you play with them enough. But there's so many different kinds, and I don't think they covered that in my sim lab. They showed us, I think, a red rubber catheter that you're supposed to wash and reuse. Ugh. I'm glad we don't have to do that for Raylan. But mostly we just talked about Foley catheters, which are the ones that you insert and then you blow up a little balloon at the tip so that it stays in place and just stays in. So we don't use those. But anyways, all that, I'm going to help Raylan empty her bladder because she hasn't in 6 hours. And so probably she's feeling kind of uncomfortable. The more you know.